All right, it's Thursday, October 26th. It's 1 p.m. I'm done for the day. And today was a disaster of a trading day for me with the strategy. And while I do think, while I do think there are things that I can learn from today, it was just a really bad day overall for me. As you can see, I was 2-2, 2 wins, 2 losses. This is the biggest red day I've had with this strategy, whether it was testing and back testing, forward testing, sim, uh, or actually trading my Apex accounts like I have been on YouTube for the past 6 weeks. Uh, this was the biggest loss for a day, biggest red day. This is my biggest red week. I've actually never had a red week with this strategy before. So this week has given back all of my gains for the month, and some, I believe, on most of my accounts. And definitely because I've also blown a number of evaluation accounts. Luckily, I didn't blow any PA accounts today. Luckily, I'm just trading one contract on those, and so my strategy saved me from blowing those up, at least my overall strategy. But today was just terrible. I'm now 35-8 overall, 81% with the strategy on YouTube. My 2 losses, again, were both on LO. So, and my 2 wins were both LO. So 2-2 for the LO. It's 77% right now, 18-6, and not where I was expecting it to be. And what can I say about today? I mean, there's a point today where I was feeding the dogs, taking care of my dogs right around 9:30, and something had just happened prior that really threw me off my game mentally, got me just frustrated and upset and not feeling like my normal self when I'm trading. And actually, I had the thought to myself when I was taking care of my dogs that I really should just stop right then and not trade anymore for the rest of the day, because my mental state was just completely thrown off. And I didn't listen to that, as well as I didn't listen to some other instincts I had later in the day, which caused me to probably get both of my losses, quite frankly. I literally came back from taking care of the dogs today and took my first loss almost immediately when I sat down after having that thought that I should stop for the day. So right away, you know, I was already upset, and then that really just threw me for a loop. And but I'm going to find some things to take from today to learn from, and let's get into the trades. I don't want to draw this out too long. Down $1,435 on my PA accounts today, down $6,074 on my evaluation accounts, and I did blow a number of these accounts. I blew number 12. I blew number 17, blow up. I was saying I blew them. It's not how I meant it, but number 18, blow up. Number 19, blow up. So 2021, 14, and 16 are still here, barely hanging on. And the PA accounts have some drawdown, not a whole lot, about 600 on number 1, and on PA3, what do I have? A little less than 600, and PA4 about 600, a little less. So I'm basically right back where I started from after today, after this week. I think I'm right basically where I was when I started this YouTube process. So it doesn't take much, I can see, because my losses are pretty big losses when I take them. It doesn't take much for the whole thing to just disappear. 6 weeks of hard work gone. Starting over, the grind begins again. I was literally on account 3, the beginning of this week. I was 2 trades away from getting a payout, and now I'm more than $1,000 away. And on this one too, I was about 500, 400 away, I believe. and now almost the full amount away from the target, almost 1400 something. So bad day. Let's take a look. I'll tell you what happened. All right, so I started my day at about 6:40 up here. Literally just no trades, being super patient. Everything was great, no problem at all. And there was a lot of sideways movement, and then we had a big move up and a big move down, and then at let's see here at about 8:10, 8:15. There was a LO. I tried to get in this trade, you'll see on my live recording, and it just went so fast that I missed it. And I thought it went for 7 ticks at the bottom here. Let me see, double check now. It's been a long day. My entry would have been 80.75. And the low here was 78.25. So it actually only went 6 ticks. I thought it went 7. And I did not try to re-enter the trade or get in late or anything. And it went without me. And that wasn't what messed me up so much. That was fine. I accepted it. But this trade right here, about 8:40, my daughter was going to go to school. And she came in right around here, and my wife was just getting some things together before taking her to school. And of course, this set up while she was sitting in my lap, and she likes to play with the mouse of my computer and make the cursor move. And so she was having a good time, and this set up, and I was like, hey, you want to take a trade, And she wanted to take a trade, but she didn't want me to take the mouse from her to be able to take the trade. And so, of course, once I took the mouse, she started to freak out, which you'll be able to hear on the recording. And I haven't listened to it back yet, but so yeah, she got very upset that I took the mouse from her. It caused me to lose, or not to lose, but to miss taking this trade. And my frustration level went overboard. Didn't take it out on her. Everything's fine. But after she left and went to school, I was just stewing and just like, oh my God, I had been sitting here for 2 hours, literally 2 hours, 120 minutes. And the timing couldn't have been worse, that after 120 minutes, she's here for the 1 minute where the best trade setup happened for me to get in, and I would have been able to get in for sure. And by the time I dropped my order, she was freaking out. I had to cancel it. I had to help settle her down and get her to relax a little bit. And I don't know what it is. I've noticed that there's been a couple times where she's come in the room when I'm going to take a trade, and I think my stress level goes up, and she seems to get upset almost immediately. I think I get tense when I'm about to get a trade, and I think that's probably what happens is she senses I'm getting tense and she gets upset. And in this case in particular, she didn't want me to take the mouse away from her because she was having a good time. So then I was frustrated. She went to school, and at about 9:25, I realized I should take care of the dogs. And like I said, while I was taking care of the dogs during this time, I literally had the thought to myself, I should just stop. I'm not in the right state of mind. I should just quit for the day. This is not going well. I hadn't even taken a trade yet, but just based on missing 2 trades. So actually when I came back, there was another trade that I missed. And so I was frustrated on top of everything else because now I'd missed another trade, a third trade, where I could have been 3-0 for the day. Literally could have been, can you guys understand my frustration? I could have been 3-0 by this point of the day at 9:45 in the morning. And because of bad timing, bad luck, just a confluence of issues, each time a trade happened, that I missed 3 perfect setups, could have been 3-0. And so I come back from taking care of the dogs, and right here at 10 o'clock, I get an LO, And I mean, I had nothing but measured moves down. You know, I had a big leg measured move down that wasn't reached yet. I had this leg measured down that wasn't reached yet. I had this leg measured down that wasn't reached yet, but getting close. And the LO fit the rules, and I took it, and boom, it just went against me in like record time, just so fast. Took me out of the trade, -6 points. And I mean, I can't explain to you how frustrated and just feeling just defeated and like the world is working against me, because I had three perfect trades that I could have been in. Boom, LO went without me, but I could have got in late because it didn't go 7 ticks, and I could have still got in, but I chose not to. And you know, I think I realized by this bar that maybe it hadn't gone 7 ticks, but I didn't want to take a chance, and so I stayed out. OJ talked about it with my daughter, missed it. Just, and when she gets upset, it's so hard for me. It affects me so much when I see her upset that I get, you know, I feel bad that I did something to upset her. And then to miss it, taking care of the dogs, and then boom, fourth trade, get a loss. And then to have the realization that if I had gotten all three of those trades, I would have been 3-1, and I would have been break even for the day. And it's like a similar kind of scenario as yesterday, where I had two trades that I only got +1 tick on, that if I had gotten the full amount that it would have worked for, it would have been a break even day on the one loss yesterday. And today is two losses. And I didn't even get there yet. But at this point of the day, at 10 o'clock, I can't tell you, I just let the emotions take over. I was so upset. And I'm sure if there was a recording of me after that point, you would hear it. I'm sure there's some recording actually. I'm not sure. At some point, I must have muted my mic and I didn't realize it. So after this trade, I was very upset. But I kept my composure and I took another LO and it won. This one worked great. So the thing I wanted to talk about real quick is, one, we're getting very close to the measured move. So maybe that was something that I could have taken into account to not take a trade there. Secondly, I mean, look at how far down this move was. I mean, there's already essentially two legs down, and I'm taking it all the way at the bottom. And I think I just have to be more aware, like when there's such a big move down, like maybe the LO becomes less good in those circumstances after all of that. Maybe time to ignore the LO, right? You know, by here, you know, you can kind of tell the momentum is different. You know, it's a momentum trade, the LO. Look how this sell-off is. Look how this sell-off is. Look how this sell-off is. And then by the time I get my setup, and, you know, it fit the rules, my current rules, it fit the rules. So I have to take it, right? And that's what this is all about. Why I'm recording on YouTube is to test it and learn it. And that's why I'm documenting it, is so that I'll never forget this day. I'll be able to go back and listen to this and watch it and remember, you know? So this is one I'll be watching a lot in the future, although I don't want to watch it anytime soon. But because I missed this trade and the one prior, it fit the rules. I wasn't at the measured legs yet on either one of these. And but another thing I noticed is it's just not selling off as much. Like it keeps kind of getting support. And I think that's a sign to maybe think about skipping an LO, even if everything else is right about it. The other thing I noticed is, you know, we got a lower high, we got a lower high, we got a lower, we got a lower low, a lower low, a lower low, and then we get a higher low. And then we get my trade set up. So I'm thinking maybe there's something in this that I really need to pay attention to, is when I'm taking a LO setup, I want to see, if I'm going short, I want to see like this one was, a lower low, 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 a lower low. And my setup happens without there being a higher low in front of it. And this trade worked beautifully. And I think that's something that I'm starting to see because I'm documenting it this way. I have a feeling that the fact that I had a higher low here is like a warning to me that maybe not the best idea. So I'm going to start adding that as a rule, that if I do have a higher low when I'm going short and get a LO setup, I'm not going to take the LO anymore. That's going to be a new rule as of today, moving forward. And I don't know if that is going to prove out over time, but that's the one thing I can see that definitely is different than the LOs that work. And so coming over here and looking at this LO, I mean, look at this: higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, the same, which can be considered a higher low, another higher low, another higher low, and then my setup. So the momentum is clearly up here. I had already reached the measured leg for the small leg, and then I had already drawn the bigger leg. Since it kept going up, I was thinking it would reach here, which it did. And so that makes this LO stellar, and it worked beautifully. It worked right away. There was no pullback. It was perfect, right? So that made me feel a little bit better, but I was still kind of like, well, I'm going to continue to take the LO no matter what, as long as it fits my rules. And so, of course, we get to here. It was 11:10 at that time, so about an hour later, just almost. And here we go again, LO. Now, what I had done is I'd measured this leg up, and I was expecting another measured leg up, and we got to there. And but it fit all my rules. And while I was thinking about taking the trade, I didn't enter it right away when it triggered. And I was like, well, let's see how these bars close. I'm a little bit, I felt a little bit skeptical because we were at this measured move. And so I was like, should I, shouldn't I? And at the last second, I decided, well, it closed above here. It's not like a bearish bar. I felt like the momentum would carry us up, and I thought we would reach the opening price again right here. You can see right here, this is the opening price, dotted line. So I thought, yeah, we would get up there even though we're at the measured leg, and I paid the price for it. And so I think these measured moves are working in the sense that when I have a target and I have a setup with a lot of room to get to the target, like it seems like I can count on it. But when there's like only a little bit of room to the target of the measured move, like there was on my loser back here, like it's already basically there of this measured leg down in this one. It's already almost there by the time I'm entering the trade. And the other things I already talked about, probably not a great idea to enter the trade. This one, lots of room to go to reach the measured move, and it worked great. And then this one, if I measured this leg up and measured this leg up, which I did, I can see I'm trading right into a measured move that has already been hit. So I think that has to be a rule, that if I'm trading into a measured move that's already hit or being reached or within, being very close, I'm going to have to skip those trades because it's too risky. And I'm seeing that I'm taking losses when I'm entering trades at that point, even though all the other rules are being fit. So that is the purpose of why I'm recording this. I'm learning this strategy as I go, and I'm modifying the rules and conditions to try to get the best results. And I was having great results, and I just ran into a brick wall this week. 3 losses in 1 week. I don't think I had 3 losses in 3 weeks in the prior 3 weeks, or maybe even 4 or 5 weeks. So just a tough week, tough day mentally. And then I was about to wrap up. It was 12:30. I was supposed to be stopping, and I saw one more LO setup, and I said, hey, I'm just going to go for it because there's no reason not to. There was no situation of a higher low. I wouldn't call this a higher low. It was just continuing to drop low. You can see here's a low, and then a lower low, and a lower low. And so when this set up and triggered right here, I didn't feel like there was any reason to not take it. And I had a leg down and a measured move to be reached still. And I figured after the kind of day I've had, there's no reason to fear entering this. The only fear I had was my leader account was closer to the drawdown than my PA accounts on this trade, on the trade copier. So if there was much more of a pullback, I could have got taken out of the leader account because it would have blown up. And then I'm pretty sure my follower accounts would have canceled out as well. And I would have taken a loss on my PA accounts, which would have really sucked, even though they had more room to a drawdown and could withstand up to where my stop was. So having said all that, I'm just exhausted from this day. This was the worst day I've had trading this strategy. It was really, just kind of demoralizing or disappointing, to say the least. And to know that I had to put this on YouTube because I'm showing wins and losses and my accounts and everything, regardless of what happens, and tracking the progress. Let me just tell you right now, this week and today has essentially brought me back to where I was at the beginning of me recording YouTube. This account, this account, this account. I don't think I was even trading this account yet, so I'm not quite below where I started on that one. But this account, I think I'm like $200 over where I started, and this one might be like $200 over where I started YouTube. I blew a bunch of accounts, as I said before. 12 is a blow up. 17 is a blow up. Or no, 17 was already gone. 18 is a blow up. 19 is blown up. So I have less evaluation accounts. Good timing because we have the 90% off. Feel free to use my code if you want to help me out. I'd appreciate it. But yeah, I'm just going to continue to test the strategy. I know there's something to this. It was working so well for 5 weeks straight, and we hit a rough week, definitely a rough day. Part of it was me. Part of it was still, I think, I need some better conditions on my LO setup specifically. As you can see, the LO is 18 and 6 now, so it's only 77%. It's my worst setup right now according to the win rate. It's also the one that happens the most. So it's still a small sample size. I think I can do things to improve the rules so that I can stay out of some of these trades all the way out. Here at the bottom, I can easily say to myself, well, it's basically 2 legs already, 2 big legs. And, that's an area where I'm seeing that they can fail more often. As well as when you're reaching the measured move on the flip side. So things I can learn and take away from it, and also just managing my emotions. If I'm having thoughts to myself that I might as well stop for the day because I'm just not mentally in the right space, I should just stop. And I got to see if I can do that. It's hard when you've blocked out a period of time where you expect to be trading, from here to here during the day, and you don't have other plans to go do something else. But I think today was a great example. I had that thought while I was feeding my dogs that I really should just not be trading anymore before I even had a loss. And the result of me continuing to trade is this. The result is literally this. That's what happens when you have that thought to yourself and you don't listen to it and trade anyway. And that's part of what is hard about trading. The strategy is the strategy, and no strategy is going to win 100%. Although I think there are ways that you can learn to avoid losses in almost any strategy, probably, or at least limit them. You can never avoid them altogether. But what I can control is my emotions and what I do as a result of my emotions. If my head is not in the right place, it's time to call it a day. And it's been a long time since that's happened to me. Today is the first time it's happened to me since I stopped trading Pat's, Max Pat's price action trading system, where it's really easy to take a loss or two and then you just go on revenge trades, and they look like a second entry short or long or whatever, and you're not paying attention to the context anymore because you just want to get your money back and get another trade and get it all back, and you start just looking for any reason to take a trade, and then you take losses. So at the very least, the last thing I would say is at least my strategy here is keeping me from doing that. I'm not able to go and revenge trade this way. As you can see, I had a loss here. I didn't take another trade right away. There were a couple that I was looking for trades in here and in here, but they didn't set up and I didn't take them. And then there was a setup here and I took it. And there was a setup here and I took it. That was an hour later, and that was another hour later. And then I got a loss here, and then there was a setup here, half hour later, 40 minutes later, and I took it here. So I think there's multiple reasons why this strategy is working for me, and it fits my personality, and I think I can hone it and make it a little bit better still. And so while today is frustrating, disappointing, demoralizing, and embarrassing to show on YouTube, I'm showing it, and I'm showing everything. I'm going to have my live recording shown. There was a part of the day where I had the mic somehow muted, so I'm not sure if when I took this trade I was muted or not. It's possible, and I think if that did happen, all I was saying to myself why I didn't enter right away was I was saying I'm hesitant because of the measured move here, and I wasn't sure if I should take it. And at the last moment, of course, I took it, and it went against me, and the writing was on the wall. But that's the commentary you missed if it wasn't recording there. I'm not sure if it was recording here, but it just fit the rules, so I took it. All right, it's been a long day. This is a long video. My recording is long. It's in 2 parts because I stopped the recording after the fiasco with my daughter, and then restarted a new file after that. So it'll be 2 parts for my live recording session today, and it will be this wrap up. And that's it for now. 90% sale is going on. So I'm going to cancel any accounts that are going to renew, and I'm going to get, I probably won't get this many evaluations. I don't think I need to be doing this many accounts at this point. So I'll probably get 1 more 50 and 1 more 25 and start trading that tomorrow. And I'm going to turn off the anything that might be renewing anytime soon. I'm going to cancel. If it's not renewing quite yet, I'll keep trading it. But I'm going to cancel it before it renews unless they're way back up to almost passing. All right. I think that about covers it. And thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting me with my journey here. This is a difficult thing to do, to show it on YouTube. The whole thing is difficult, like recording right before the trade. And it's difficult being, a father and having a 2.5-year-old. If she comes in next time, I'm not even going to think to look for a trade. I'm just like, as if it's off, there is no trade. Even if it's there, there is no trade. I can't take a trade with her in the room. I've learned my lesson. And that's another thing. That's another thing that I'll say I've learned for today is when my daughter comes in, there's no such thing as a trade that can happen at that time. So that'll help me. All right, I'm done. Thanks for watching, and we'll do it again tomorrow, and hope to have a better day and get back on course next week.